have two primary options. We either take in conditions and circumstances as they come, or we take the responsibility to change them. Today, in our episode of The Growth Catalyst, I bring to you a very good gentleman called Emmanuel. Emmanuel, so much welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And to the viewers, my name is Emmanuel Akandwanaho. I am a student at Makerere University, doing a Bachelor of Science in Land Economics, and as well as one of the activities that I do, I'm a founder of Makerere Gavo Club. Makerere Gavo Club, an affiliate of Toastmasters, that mainly focuses on developing personal skills as well as public speaking skills as well as communication skills. And besides that, I'm also a person who's enthusiastic about entrepreneurship. Yeah, and that's in the area. I'm a CEO as well as co-founder of Mia UG.
Wow.
And Mia UG is in full, it's Make It a Home.
Okay.
And what we do, we mainly deal in student accommodation.
Okay.
It's a new startup that I wouldn't love to unleash today.
It's okay.
Maybe perhaps on our next episode, that's when all the viewers will get to know.
So Emma is a jack of all trades.
Yeah, I love to call myself a surveyor who wears many hats.
Oh, all right. That's
Yeah.
a good one. Okay.
Yes.
So today we have a very interesting episode of The Growth Catalyst, and we want to understand how can you take individual responsibility. Emma,
Yes.
one of the highest forms of maturity is taking full responsibility.
Yeah.
How does a viewer understand taking full responsibility of themselves?
Yeah, and first and foremost, one of the things that I got to realize as a young man, because I believe I'm not to the whole expertise, but one of the things I got to understand is that as an individual, you need to take full ownership of the responsibilities. Let's say even if you're still at high school level, everything that you do is upon you. You do not account your failures. It could be part of the system, but then what do you also hold accountable to?
Yeah.
Because in life, everything always comes back to you. You're the master of your own fate.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to define who you want to be in life. You set your goal, you set your perimeters.
Yeah.
And being able to have your individual responsibility is more in line of having your own standards that you live by. Okay, if I say this is who I am, I'm a person who wakes up and I need to read a book, and if at all anything goes wrong, I need to be able to find out why.
Yeah.
And find a solution to the problem. If at all I do not have the solution, I need to be able to seek out help to someone who has the ability to help me out.
Yeah.
And that's the ability in the aspect I look out for individual responsibility.
Yeah.
It is more so in line of, you also need to, when things also go bad, you don't rush to blaming society,
That's true.
or maybe if at all from your family background. Yeah, things may not always be the best. But when you learn and accept that this is what it is. I live in Uganda, which is a third world country. I may be having this marvelous idea, but it's not going to boom any soon.
Yeah.
Because with a condition, this is what it is. So I need to be able to take full ownership of that and be able to understand. It's more in line with understanding your personal reality. What reality are you living in?
Yeah.
If you're having the limited resources, you're not going to live like the Disney world that you see in the movies. You have the limited resources. How will you be able to utilize them?
Yeah.
And then the other part, the final part that I can describe it is also growing you as a person. You as a person, you might have been hurt in the past, maybe through the breakups you've gone through, or maybe people who never paid attention, person who abused you, thought you could not make it. Because I understand one of the biggest motivations of people is that they understand that if you listen. Recently I was talking to a colleague of mine and told me when Cheptegei was asked why he won the race, all these multiple races, his reply was, when I was at Nambour training, some people used to think that I can't make it.
Yeah.
So it kept onto my mind that I'm going to make it, I'm going to make it. Yeah, but then that does not really explain that why he won. It's his own urge. It's not about seeking validation from other people that, okay, when I go and race and then I defy the odds, then what? Yeah, it has to be within yourself. It's upon me. I'm going to win it for myself first. The other people can come rest.
Yeah.
If I'm going to come into academics, if I'm going to get a first class, it's my first class.
Exactly.
The society that is going to view me and give me all these statuses, it's up to them.
True.
but it has to come from within me.
True.
And that's how best I can define
Wow.
individual responsibility.
That's a good one. I loved it. I loved it when you said you're the master of your own fate, which is a reality. Yes. There is a very good motivational speaker called Eric Thomas.
Yeah.
He said that he woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning and he was praying to God and crying to God. God, what do I do of this situation? It is so disheartening. He has a very disheartening past, a very unsettled present, so worried about his future.
Yeah.
And God told him, you are your own victim. And he said, it is not my responsibility that my parents didn't build a house. They didn't even have access to a loan. It is not myself to blame that I didn't go to a good school. And God told him, you are the master of your own fate. So it rang a bell when you pulled the same statement. And he said, and he realized that the decisions that he had to take were totally up to him, not anybody else. Yes.
And if I may just interrupt a bit,
Yeah.
There's a story we understand, Abel and Cain.
Yeah.
So Abel was a person in the Bible we talk about, was everything that he did was being prosperous.
Yeah.
So this is so now Cain finds out he was taking a step. He was hardworking, trying to make things work out. Things were going the other way around. And his question was, so it seems, if at all I kill the other person, maybe I could be able to take ownership of what he has.
Yeah.
But when you understand also with God's favor, one of the things that I understand is that through the hardships that he takes you through, it's your own journey. You don't try to reciprocate on what other people are going through. He puts you in your own frame that you need to be able to grow through it.
Yeah.
So Cain, instead of pursuing only, can I call it like taking up full responsibility of what he was going through? If I'm going through these hardships, how can I be able to seek myself? You know, in the Bible, is it in Matthew where it said seek and you find? Yes. So instead of seeking for God's favor to understand how best he can bring himself out, he only rushed for the shortcut. The shortcut is, if at all I kill this person or I terminate this person, I could be able to possibly get the favors. And that's also turned the whole things around. So that means, and the other thing I've also got to learn is that we as human beings, we need to aspire for certain things that are meaningful. It's as Jordan Peterson normally says, it's your moral obligation to pursue something that has meaning. But it is a luxury for me to pursue happiness. Yeah, you know, in our current society, there's always a trend. What do I go for? And this is something that also that I brought out the whole idea of wanting to talk about individual responsibility.
Yeah.
If I'm Emmanuel and I need to excel in academics, why should I do that? Why should I not go and party in clubs?
Yeah.
And, you know, life is short. We only live once. What are the repercussions? Okay, the repercussions may be there, but at least I've lived my life to the fullest. But when you go deep down, you understand that you as a soul, as a human being, you need to always seek out something that is always meaningful. And that's what makes that exist even up to now.
Yeah.
You understand, your parent that sacrifices the little he or she has to pay for your tuition, it's very meaningful to him or her, rather than pursuing happiness in the short term. Yeah, so him saving the little money he has, and then he has to educate you. Because I always wondered, why should a parent, you know, because I feel like to me it's a favor. Yeah, a parent, you know, saving up his money and then he has to educate you, take you all this time. He could still use it and buy himself any luxury that he has. But then it's that understanding that you as a human being on this planet Earth, you have that due diligence or the individual responsibility to take care of someone else, even if, like, to make sure things are better. There's that responsibility you get, and it's always fun that the people who do such activities are they have the utmost satisfaction in life than any other person who pursues happiness. You know, if at all you're drinking booze, when you do it the first time, there's pleasure. Then the third time you find it's not enough. It's always not. You always want to add more. You always want to pursue more. Habit. Yeah, it becomes a habit. You keep, because there's a tendency that we as human beings, when we get more, if you get more stuff, material things, it reaches a time now you normalize it. You pursue for more. So there's always no limit. Compared to someone who pursues something that is more meaningful in life, it gives you more meaning in life, and also maybe by the time of your death you can think that you've lived a life that is worth it.
Okay. Now, I know a lot of people are viewing us right now. We have teens and young adults and adults. Now, what do you tell to a young adult who has a very disheartening past and they keep on sharing their old problem, the problem that happened when they were kids, and they share their stories over and over again as an excuse for not progressing? Should we tell them to stop sharing that story?
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
And when you hinted on that, it was as if it's directed to me, because I personally, I believe every person has a past that as every person you go through. So sharing your story is not a problem, but how you share it is a difference. That's what makes a difference. What's the purpose of you sharing the story? Are you sharing your story to feel victimized for? Like, okay, I can feel sympathy for you, but then at the end of the day, what's the use? Or have I used my story to progress? Because I believe that when I also started viewing my problems and my challenges as a story that I can be able to tell.
Yeah.
Because I believe that maybe after, or maybe if I'm to live for 70 years, I could write my own biography.
Yeah.
Whether I'm that big or not, maybe my grandsons can also come and view it. But then I understand that the challenges that we go through, it's not just, because I understand, like right now, I understand that whoever, as you said, the teenager that is viewing right now, the challenges you're going through, it's part of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you learn more, and this is the reason why at times I task myself to read more. It's one way of giving your life hacks. You understand, how does my human brain work? What are my habits? What are my beliefs? And how can I be able to mitigate them? So if you're having those challenges you're going through, you look out for the people who have been through in those same situations. Are you the person who has gone through the worst? Do you think you're going through the worst in the world? It's not about, okay, you're comparing yourself to, okay, I think this person. No, you need to view what made them move from the areas they were to where they are right now. What things, leave alone the connection. There are more factors that lead to success than anything else. Look out for pinpoint them out and see how you can use them into your life to be able to succeed.
Yeah, true.
So by the time I'm sharing my story, I need someone else to be motivated.
Exactly.
Yeah, so me, when I'm coming out to life, and because mainly my friends normally call me a motivational speaker, but to me it's not just, because people they have developed, can I call it, it's a stereotype about what motivation is.
Yeah.
Because nowadays almost everyone thinks can be a motivational speaker. But to me, it's my daily life. Every day I need to be motivated to do something. Yeah. I know back somewhere where I come from, there's some people who see me and to them I'm like a god. So everything I do is that I cannot be able to let them back.
Yeah.
I cannot let them down.
True.
Yeah, so I aspire to do more. And when I'm aspiring, that means I need to learn how to hack my mind, how to be able to train them back. So the other people that see me do these things, I'm not doing it for them. I just do it to them for myself, to be able to better myself.
Yeah.
Then the others, those are ripple effects. Just like how I'm seated here, we're talking. These are just ripple effects. The main reason why you do something, you must have, I think, you must define your why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're going through the challenges, you need to understand life is suffering.
Yeah.
Not in a way that, okay, you're going to always go through the difficulties, but then you need to understand it's not about happiness. If you're going through the happy moments, you need to be thankful of God that you're having those moments. But when the challenges come, that's when you need to become the real you. And that's, I believe, that's when you become the strongest person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the other good factor about it is that most of the people who have had a broken past have found a way of working out of it. In fact, they use that fact to straighten their present, to have a beautiful future. We've cited a lot of examples on this same program about how many people, we've seen the Joyce Meyer, she quotes that she was raped more than 100 times by her very own dad. You know, she would dwell on that past, on that childhood story, to live a devastated life right now, you know, but she has got out of it. We have a lot of people. So we want to understand there is a very big relationship or a correlation between independence and responsibility.
Yeah.
How does each dwell on the other? Okay. Yes.
Okay, so responsibility to me, first of all, it has to come back with you having an independent mind as a person. And to me, how I view having an independent mind is your ability to be able to articulate your views, no matter the people, how they see you. Okay, these are my thoughts, and I need to air out them to the world. They could be bad, they could be good. But then at the end of the day, if they're bad, I could get the feedback and use it to elevate my life.
Yeah.
If they are good, I could also still use it to elevate my life. So having an independent mind is one of the things that I realized as I'm joining the workplace, is that you realize you as a person, you need to have thoughts. Because there's a time when we're in the boardroom, we're discussing your company issues, we're discussing on how to increase sales. And they ask you, what are your thoughts? And you find, because we're grown up in this setup of, you're always in a classroom, you're not allowed to always say, maybe challenge a teacher. So you feel you need to keep low. And this comes up even as you grow old. So when in a boardroom people were asked, you will find, you're being timid, you don't speak louder audibly to articulate your thoughts. And then the director said, you Ugandans you have brilliant minds, but you're always fear to speak up.
Yeah,
and then you realize that this is what is going on even it could be across Africa. But we as Africans, we do not embrace who we are and how best that I need to articulate myself. Maybe from black, I need to be able to appreciate my color, and I need to speak audibly about that without thinking, fear or favor. Yeah, like you need to be able to articulate, even when it comes, and this I also realized, because this is something I've also been going through, I realized that at some point, because I'm a leader at campus, at my college, and then you realize when it comes to matters that concern students and you're before lecturers, you seem to be soft to the lecturers, that you need to address these issues, that they can be able to, implement them. But then if I say this, they will view me in a bad way, or maybe they will give me a retake. So that's like you're degrading your standards as a person. Yeah. So having an independent mind also comes as how you approach life. If you're having this creative idea that you're working on, you're going to always go to maybe competitions. They're going to crush you. Yeah. The very first time you go into them, you're always going to crush. Okay, this does not work. This does not work. Why are you doing this? Ask you this. Who's your target audience? Yeah. Why are you doing this for the customer? Do you know your competitors? And you have no questions to accrue, and you feel like, okay, I feel like I don't do these things. I need to back out.
True.
Yeah, but having your individual mindset is that, okay, this is what they pin upon, but then I still believe there's something that they don't see. Because there's one time when I was listening to a video by the founder of LinkedIn, and he was explaining that when you're starting up LinkedIn, you always sought advice from the people who are mature into the field of startups and all that.
Yeah.
And then you always wanted to know, okay, I have this and this, but then they would question, okay, this and this, but I don't believe this. But because there are people who are of a higher status than you think maybe, okay, whatever I'm doing is not valid. But then within you have to have that one thing that always says, maybe it could be your intuition, that okay, these people may say this, but I believe this thing is going to work.
True.
Even without experience, but there's that voice like, okay, everyone can say this, but still me, I believe I'm going to stick to this. And that's like the individual mind that I always want to speak to. That mind of yours that forces you to do certain things despite of the odds. That, okay, your friends may tell you, oh, but Emma, you don't speak. Where have you ever spoken? Because I believe, like, to me, it has always been like a life testimony. When I started, the very first time, I remember it was in high school, senior 6. I decided I wanted to be an MC. I'd never done MC. I was always an introverted person. I didn't know how to do things. I was like, okay, fine. But then, when you read the Bible, you understand, okay, God can do miracles. Things can happen. Yeah, but then I was not worried. Yeah, but I had that like, I can do it. What is so hard that people can do? So when I took the step, I was like, oh, and everyone now appreciates. But they cannot appreciate you unless you have that individual mind within you. And most times, especially in this, where people are full of naysayers, you need to be able to discover it on your own.
Yeah, I love the part where you say that you were an introvert.
Yeah.
So I guess you also came from a humble background.
Yeah, it's true.
So how did you break out of that chain from an introvert to an entrepreneur to a jack of all trades? Yes.
Yeah. It's a bit tricky. I remember my beginning was it was a part, I believe it was around 2018. I believe it was one of the most important days of me for my personal development, as also self-discovery. Is that when I realized that, okay, things were not the way I needed them to be. Because when I joined campus, I realized I'd lost my Emma, the version I knew. I was lost in the world, and I was trying to find my unique voice. So in the due process, I realized that because I was going through some pain, so I realized the only way that I could avoid the pain was getting busy.
Yeah.
So I remember that time I started a business, I was selling perfumes, and it would make me go tired. So I was like, okay, if at all I can do this thing almost every day and I have to move to lecture, from class, then come back and do this, I would get occupied. I would not have to think about, like I was mainly trying to eliminate the time you have, and the mind wanders. So trying to keep my mind busy. By the time I come back to my hostel, I should be sleeping. I should be tired and ready to rest. So in that due process, I started embarking on different things. I started doing this. I knew then it was coming up. Then I had to go to starting a club. And during that time, I was also having my startup. I was also trying to get to learn how to read. So I realized that, but then that was also not the right way, because you don't want to start because you're trying to avoid something and shadow it being busy. So, but when I realized to be able to do all these things, you need to come to the real you and understand, okay, this is Emma. Where are you right now in life? What are the things that you need to improve? And I realized maybe it is this, is speaking, there's how to communicate, how to network. So I realized them from that point. Wow, it's like having, you have balls. You're like, there's this ball, the ball, maybe the red ball is that, okay, I have the fear of public speaking. Maybe the yellow ball is, I'm not good at networking with people when it comes to rooms. Maybe the blue ball is, my academics is lagging. Maybe the fourth ball is, okay, I'm lacking. I need to know knowledge. I need to be well informed. Yeah. So I keep on. I'm like, okay, I have these balls that I need, and I need to keep on tackling one by one. Yeah. So I keep attacking one by one, one by one, as you're improving. And then you find along the way, 2 years down the road, you're becoming a better person. Because in the end, you want to compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to other people. Yeah. So that's how I can say it.
So every teenager and young adult, I want to tell you that today it is your fault that you have a smartphone but you don't take time to learn a second language. It is your fault that you have access to gadgets around home but you don't take time to learn the internet. It is your fault that you always spend every day of your life on Facebook. You don't take time to learn anything else other than Facebook, or always Instagramming and slaying. That's what they call it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. It is your fault that you go to church but you don't take time to join any ministry to learn any skill at church, but all you do, go to church and then come back at the end of the day. So it is your fault that you don't take time to learn any skill, blaming it on the parents who didn't get tuition for you to complete school. It is your fault that you're not learning any other skill. So I guess I'm right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
You know, I normally listen to one of the renowned African public speakers, that's Vusi. One of the things he talks about, in this current world, you have no excuse for not learning anything.
True.
You have a full university, one of the best universities in the world, at your full disposal. That's the YouTube. You can always go there and learn from all the masters in the world.
True.
At a free course. All you need is your data.
Exactly.
So if at all you say, it's all your responsibility. If now in the current world you fail, it's all upon you.
Yeah,
you don't blame it to anyone.
True. Very true. So give us some conclusive remarks to a teenager, to a young adult who's watching us right now.
Yeah, to my fellow young adults as well as teenagers, is that one quote that I know for sure is that you're never too young to teach, and you're never too old to learn. Yeah, so even if you're out there, you can always have something that you know, because in the current world, it's no longer about experience, it is how much information you know, and how you can be able to implement the information. So you don't necessarily nowadays need to feel intimidated because you're still young, and also cover up in your mistakes because you feel you're young or you're 20. I need to share with certain responsibilities. With now, you can always do anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Now, to all the teenagers, all the young adults, all the adults even who are watching us right now, I know you might have been molested, you might have been abused, you might have had a setback. Do not let the dark choices of another person derail you or take you back. Please, you can get up on your feet. You're an overcomer, like we always say. So, Emma, I want to thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for hosting me. It's my privilege.
I look forward to having you again.
Me too.
Thank you so much for being very lovely viewers every time here on the Growth Catalyst. We love you.